when we see that kind of idols. So that is the specialty of this Gandhara. And the sculptures were in stone, terracotta, cement, and cement-like material and clay. And these are the people. So in order to make these type of idols, they use stones or what is that? Terracotta. Terracotta is nothing but a fried clay, a fried no, a fried clay we actually use, and a cement-like material and clay. These are the materials that they actually use when it comes to the making of these statues in the style of Gandhara. So the speciality of the Gandhara school is this. And when it comes to this slide, what we have learned, what we actually observed is that so after first century, under the patronage of Kushnas, the statues of Buddhas were actually built by the artisans. And in this slide, we are focusing mainly because we spoke about Greek, what is this, Gandhara art, and as well as Mathura, and as well as Amravati School of Art. So we are seeing what kind of style that this Gandhara School of Art follows. Is this? What is that? So whenever they make a statue of Buddha, you're going to have lifelike impact, and also bodhisattvas are also made over there. And and not only that, not only the statue that they actually make, and they also add ornaments, costumes, drapery in order to have a beautiful physical beauty in that. And next, you're going to see the sculptures. And when it comes to the sculptures making, they use stones. Sometimes they use terracotta, as I told you, the fried what do you call that, clay, and also they use cement-like materials, and some clay also they actually use. So these are the materials that they actually use in the making of an idol when it comes to the Gandhara School of Art. And now we're going to see the differences between Mathura School and Amravati schools. And till now we have seen what actually Gandhara style or Gandhara art is all about. So in the examination, they definitely ask you, so what is Gandhara art, Amaravati, and Mathura art? So you have to define that. So when it comes to Gandhara art, so just now we have seen Gandhara art, where they actually follow, the style of the Gandhara art is they make idols like lifelike statues, and where most of them are Buddha, and these bodhisattvas are actually inscribed. And not only that, in order to give the physical beauty, so they actually add drapery, what do you call that, ornaments, costumes they use. So this is how they actually make when it comes to Gandhara art. And also the material that they use is this, what, terracotta, and now cement like material, and the clay they actually use, and what else they use, and they also use stone in order to make an idol. So these are the things that actually they actually follow when it comes to Gandhara School of Architecture. And now let's see what are the differences that we find when it comes to Mathura School and Amravati School. So here, the Mathura School, on the left side we have Mathura School, and on our left and right side we have Amravati School. Let's see the specialty of these schools. When it comes to Mathura School, the figures of the Mathura School were made of spotted red stone. So how are we going to identify whether it is this idol made by Mathura School or Amravati School? Mathura School people actually use red stone whenever they make some idols, or whenever they wanted to make idols, they exclusively use red stone. When it comes to these Amravati School, so Amravati School developed under the patronage of the Satavahan. Okay, let's see the first one. What do you call the Mathura School? And next, they had a distinct spiritual look about them. So whenever you see these Mathura schools architecture, you're going to get a kind of spirituality. You're going to be into a kind of spirituality. For example, in our India, we have too many idols. We find too many idols of gods. Whenever you see them, whenever you see them, those idols, you'll be into a kind of spiritual. And we have seen people who are doing like this whenever they find some temple on the road. And how come all these things? Because that the impact of the idol made us to do like this. So it gives a kind of spirituality. And along with the Buddha, we also find the sculptures of Jain deities. So, and these people not only made Buddha statues, and also the Jain deities sculptures also made. That is the main characteristics of Mathura school. The first one is here, they use red stone, and second one is here, they're going to have a spiritual look. They're going to have spiritual looks. And third thing, the specialty of this Mathura school, they not only make Buddha's sculptures, and also they made Jain deities. And when it comes to Amravati school, let's see how it actually came into existence. The Amravati school developed under the patronage of the Satavahanas of Andhra region. So Satavahanas are the people who actually ruled our Andhra region, and they actually gave a lot of support in order to, when it comes to the architecture. So mostly they gave a lot of support to this Amravati school. A great stupa was built at Amravati in the lower Godavari region. And I'm going to show you that the stupa would actually built by these Amravati school. The walls of the stupa were adorned with bas relief. These had medallion and decorative panels. And if you observe, if you take a picture, so the upper part actually can be made by anybody. But the lower part, when it comes to this one, when it comes to this lower part, just like I guess somewhere, yeah. So this bas relief, this lower part is actually going to have a different look. So what is the different look is here? They're going to have a medallion on that bas relief, and also you're going to find some decorative panels. This is the style of Amravati schools. And next, Nagarjunakonda is another place that is famous for its Buddhist architecture. If you ever been to Nagarjuna Sagar, and you definitely visit the place called Nagarjunakonda. There we have a museum which talks about the Buddhist architecture and the Buddhist teachings. We can experience what do you call that, Buddhism over there, because too many people come and visit, and you're going to have that atmosphere. You're going to feel that atmosphere, because most of that area is actually speaks a lot about Buddha and his teachings. So this is the difference between these are the differences that we actually find between Amravati school and as well as Mathura school. So don't forget, we discussed three different arts. One is Gandhara art, and second one is Mathura art, and third one is Amravati School of Arts. See here, and let me remind you again, Gandhara art actually talks about lifelike statues. They actually make lifelike statues, and not only Buddha statue, and you're going to find bodhisattvas, and moreover, they have what do you call that? For in order to give the physical beauty in Gandhara art, in order to give the physical beauty, what they did, they add costumes, they add draperies, they add the ornaments. These are the main qualities of Gandhara school. And when it comes to our Gandhara art, when it comes to the material, what they're going to use, they use stones, they use terracotta, and they use cement-like materials, and also they use, the fourth one is they use even clay to make the idols. The impact where they actually drawn from the Greek gods. That is the style of Gandhara. When it comes to Mathura school of art is this. So they when to identify whether it is Gandhara schools or Amravati schools or Mathura schools, it's just this. So whenever we find a red stone statues or idols, you take it for granted. So they are actually made by the Mathura school, and moreover, these idols going to have the spiritual look. You'll be into kind of a spirituality on seeing to them. And not only that, see, these Madhura schools, not only they made the statues of Buddha, and also they made the statues of Jain deities. And where it comes to Amravati, so Amravati is actually Amravati school actually given a lot of weight or a lot of support by Satavahanas, right? And next, the main impact of these Amravati school is actually they make the bas relief very superbly, no, very excellently. They actually make um, very excellent, and on an excellent way they actually in an excellent way they actually make. So what is that with a bas relief? These bas relief going to have these bas relief going to have medallions and as well as decorative panels. And finally, if you wanted to witness Amravati school's art, we have to visit Nagarjuna Konda. So where it talks about Buddhist architecture. So this is what is all about the differences between Amravati school and as well as Mathura school. Now, and the next one is here. The Gupta period marks the beginning of the constructions of freestanding Hindu temples. So after that, Samudragupta, we know the person, our Gupta period. So when we actually, when our India actually ruled by these Guptas, so they also made some, no, no, introduced some different types of architectures. So one of them is freestanding Hindu temples. Let's see what they actually constructed, what they actually built of these freestanding Hindu temples. So if you go to Jhansi district, Jayagraha, so there we can experience something. The temple at Jayagraha, which has a central shrine or Garbhagriha, where the image of deity is placed, and another temple at Bittergaon, Kanpur district are two fine examples of this period. So even these Guptas gave much importance to the architecture. So even we can actually see those things which were actually patronized by these people. So one can experience, or one temple we can see at Jayagraha, which is actually the speciality of this one is that it has the shrine or sanctuary. Garbhagriha is nothing but, if I'm not mistaken, it's a sanctuary, the where the deity image of the deity is placed, and under means it's in other words, if I'm not mistaken, most of the people are telling that what is Garbhagriha. People are telling that it is a place where the god is going to rest. Only one, the high priest is actually allowed to serve the god. So the main important the characteristics of these freestanding Hindu temples, they have garbhagrihas for god. And the second one we can experience at Bittergaon, which is located at Kanpur district. So these are the finest examples that we can experience of Gupta's architecture. Yeah, here in this lesson, we're going to have three types of architectures. One is cave architecture, second one is rock cut temples, and third one is here freestanding temples. Just now what we discussed. Let's see what is this cave architecture. And you are seeing on a picture over here. So those are caves. So it is also a cave, and see how they actually made the entire cave. So we can experience beautiful images and pillars, and some beauty is actually light there. And if I'm not mistaken, you can see here some idols are actually sculpted on the wall, on these stones. And see, this is also comes under one of the famous architectures. And let's see, the development of this cave architecture is another unique feature and marks an important phase in the history of Indian architecture. And not only making the idols, and our Indians also started no 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 making or they are doing some architecture works even on the caves. They started doing that. So more than 1,000 caves have been excavated, where archaeologists have discovered sculptures that were created in the 2nd century BC and AD 10th century. And even our archaeologists, when they're actually excavating, so they found 1,000 caves. So with this kind of architecture, with this kind of appearance, they actually found. So these were all done in the BC, and if I'm not mistaken, in the 10th century, all these cave architecture were actually done. Famous among these were Ajanta and the Ellora caves of Maharashtra and the Udayagiri caves of Orissa. And we can experience, and if I'm not mistaken, you might have heard of these Ajanta and the Ellora caves. So they are actually standing as an example of cave architecture. And these caves hold Buddhist viharas, chaityas, as well as mandapas and pillar temples of Hindu gods and goddesses. And so, what is the main intention behind going after this cave architecture? Because they are actually made for Buddhist people. So they're going to have viharas over there, and the chaityas we're going to have, and as well as some mandapas are there where they can actually rest, and some pillars of from some pillar temples of Hindu gods and goddesses. So this is actually what we're going to find when it comes to cave architecture. So in this slide, what we're going to discuss and what we actually discussed is that, so one of the main architecture level that we actually entered into our architectural level is the cave architecture that is actually found mainly when archaeologists are actually excavating, and these people actually found 1,000 caves which were actually sculpted like this. So when they were actually excavating, and they came to know that, so these caves were actually sculpted, if I'm not mistaken, at 10th century, in 10th century, if I'm not mistaken. And later, the best examples for a cave architecture that we can experience now is here Ajanta and as well as Ellora caves, which are located in Maharashtra, and as well as Udayagiri caves in Odisha. And Udayagiri caves also very popular for this cave architecture. So as soon as you enter into these caves, you're going to witness a beautiful architecture. The way they actually sculpted the pictures, and some pictures are actually out of your imagination. So such a beautiful way they are actually made.